Visit us online.
Four Nelsonville City Council members resigned, leaving no quorum to handle the city's affairs. Good evening, I'm Juliana Colant.
And I'm Reese Thompson. Welcome to Newswatch. The resignations caused the city to lose a $1.4 million grant to upgrade one of its main downtown streets. The Survivor Advocacy Outreach Program notified the city that the nonprofit was removing the grant. SAOP told Nelsonville officials that the city council resignations, quote, makes it evidence to us that the city will lack the bandwidth to implement the project in a manner consistent with our current understanding of the project timelines, end quote. On Monday, Council President Tony Dunphy and members Greg Clement and Neil Somers, 3 of the 4 who resigned, rescinded the resignations, but it was too late to save the grant.
Today, the Ohio Governor's Nursing Home Quality and Accountability Task Force visits Hawking College to hear from community members about the quality of care in nursing homes. The session was facilitated by the Ohio Department of Aging and looks to improve treatment options across the state. One more community listening session will be held in Cleveland on Thursday, April 13th. In addition, a virtual town hall event will be hosted by AARP on Thursday, April 20th at 11 a.m. to get input from Ohioans who are unable to attend the in-person listening sessions. For more information on listening sessions, telethon town halls, and the task force in general, visit aging.ohio.gov.
A woman in Lawrence County faces 1 felony and multiple misdemeanors after police say she tried to hit a motorcyclist in a road rage incident. Cold Grove police arrest Heather Donahoe after a man says he was followed and threatened Tuesday traveling on State Route 243. He stated that a woman he knew allegedly tried to hit his motorcycle with her truck. CGPD says the obtained video showing 43-year-old Heather Donahoe in the incident that they say endangered the lives of the motorcyclist and other drivers. Greg Smith filmed the incident. It says driving like this is unacceptable.
Drive like that and act like that. There's too many kids out here. She was out to hurt that man.
The suspect was taken to the Lawrence County Jail. Police haven't said anything yet about why she was allegedly targeting that man.
Severe storms rolled across southeast Ohio last night, leaving some in the region without power. In Pleasantville, crews worked throughout the night to repair extensive damage after a possible tornado crossed the area. The severe winds knocked down multiple trees and power lines. According to AEP Ohio's outage map, power has been restored to a majority of customers. We are joined by Newswatch forecaster Isabel Isco with more on what we can expect going into this weekend. Good evening, Isabel.
Hello. I know that yesterday we were definitely feeling more intense weather. I know last night there was some pretty intense wind, even a possible tornado. We weren't hit. But going into today, we're going to be seeing a lot more of this weather. You could see that last night, it was almost 88 degrees about 24 hours ago. You can see that these temperatures were a lot warmer yesterday than they were today. That warm temperatures went away because of this cold front that came through. You could see that all of this kind of precipitation ran through and is saying why we still have some cloudy skies and some sprinkles in there today. Right now out there it's about 50 degrees. You can see again 51 overcast skies out there, going to be giving us today way cooler temperatures, but going to be a little bit more pleasant going into tomorrow. I'll be getting into that. Today, again, that 54 temperature high was our high for today. And that chance of showers, that 70% chance of showers was definitely more last night going into early this morning. And that was going through, these next couple hours are about going to be the only time that we're going to be getting rain for the day. I'll definitely be getting into how that is going to be affecting our Easter weekend. Let's go back to Juliana.
Thanks, Isabel. The U.S. Supreme Court refuses to intervene in an ongoing case relating to the West Virginia's law banning transgender girls from joining girls' school sports teams. The court's decision arrived on its emergency docket, also known as the shadow docket, meaning the decisions are made without full argument and decided with little to no explanation. The court conservative supermajority faces substantial criticism for its use of the emergency docket when dealing with controversial issues, deciding without full oral argument or briefing. According to the ACLU, some 19 states enacted laws similar to West Virginia's within the last 3 years. No appeals court has yet to rule on the question. Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost announces he is accepting a petition seeking to amend part of the state's constitution which sets minimum wage. The Raise the Wage Ohio amendment hopes to increase the state's minimum wage rate and modify existing requirements for the various groups of employees. The original version of the petition was rejected by the Ohio Attorney General's office on October 14th of last year. If approved by the Ohio Ballot Board, the petitioners must then collect signatures from registered voters equal to at least 10% of the voters cast in the 2022 election.
A new law in Ohio will allow victims to exercise their control over rights that previously were unenforceable. That goes into effect today. Marcy's law will give crime victims the right to privacy and the right to be notified about court cases of their perpetrators. The executive director of the Ohio Crime Victim Justice Center, Kathy Lee Harper, says, quote, victims' rights laws were illusory, paper promises with no means of enforcement, and as a result, routinely ignored. Crime victims have a right to retain an attorney for their case. She says legislators need to set aside funds to help those victims who cannot afford that legal representation. Ohio state lawmakers will soon return from their spring break to start working on the 2-year state budget. They have $6 billion in surplus cash to work with and will have to decide how to spend it. Governor Mike DeWine's budget proposal includes eliminating taxes on baby products, continuing money for a school funding plan, and a $2.5 billion fund to prepare large sites for economic development. But House Republicans also want an income tax cut, even though it wasn't in the budget. Chair Jay Edwards says these things are all in competition for the surplus cash and will have to be discussed. The $1 billion Rural Highway Fund in the House version of the transportation budget that was stripped out by the Senate may also be discussed. The budget must pass both chambers and be signed by the end of June. Environmental activists encourage state utility regulators to take action on a nuclear power plant bailout law they opposed. The bailout law gives public utilities commissioners power to utilities stop collecting cost recovery fees from 2 coal-fired power plants. The plants are in Gallia County and Madison, Indiana, operating under the Ohio Valley Electric Corporation. All ratepayers need to pay those fees under the House Bill 6 bailout, and it requires audits to see if the plants were run efficiently or if the customers were overcharged. After the break, Tennessee Republicans oust 3 Democrats for protesting inside the Tennessee State House. And spring has definitely sprung. How to stay safe in the warm weather.
Yes, that warmer weather will be coming later this week, but for your Easter weekend, I'll be getting into how this system is going to be affecting us this weekend after the break.
Hey, I'm Rick Steves. Join me for an exciting look at the art and architecture of the modern age, starting with the art that gave voice to the struggles for freedom. Then we'll see how Romanticism reveled in nature and stirred the emotions. We'll trace the evolution of modern styles from Impressionism to Art Nouveau to Cubism and beyond, celebrating how art reflects the dynamic changes in our age.
Friday at 10 on WOUB.
That's the best news I've heard all day.
On Finding Your Roots, Roseanne Cash
It's odd how it makes me feel a little differently about myself.
and Clint Black,
I've joked with friends about what kind of rascals we'd find.
stars of country music.
Wish I could go back in time.
You are descended from a patriot.
We were in the fight.
Plus,
Would you like to meet your DNA cousin?
Yes. Wow.
Finding Your Roots.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
On episode 2 of La Frontera, I'm exploring from Baja California to Nogales, Arizona, through the heart of the Sonoran Desert, where medical tourism is booming.
We came to get some dental work done, actually.
An ancient tribe reignites a passion for traditional foods,
I like to think of our food as survival food.
and a migrant is transformed by art. Join me, Patty Hinich, on La Frontera.
Monday at 9 on WOUB.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, heirloom surprises revealed.
That's astonishing. Just
my great-grandmother's old cards.
I hope my daughters are going to be interested in it enough to pass it on down through the generations.
I'll say your great-great-great-grandfather looks like Paul McCartney, even with the British haircut,
Yeah.
right?
It's Antiques Roadshow, next time from the Idaho Botanical Garden in Boise.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
A call for stronger gun safety laws has 3 Tennessee state lawmakers facing expulsion from their elected seats after participating in a gun reform demonstration on the State House floor last week. State Democrats and supporters call it political retribution, but the GOP majority argues it's following House rules. Laura Aguirre has the latest on this developing story.
Hundreds of protesters at the Tennessee State House showing support for 3 Democratic lawmakers facing expulsion by their GOP counterparts for this. Representatives Gloria Johnson, Justin Jones, and Justin Pearson joined gun reform demonstrators at the State House last week. A call to action sparked by the murders of 6 people at Nashville's Covenant Elementary School last month. Republicans accused the 3 Democrats of violating House decorum and procedure rules.
I, for one, would like to see whatever video, so before I vote on any motion for expulsion, that I can see video of exactly what occurred on this House floor.
But if you're showing a video where we were in the thrust and the heat of what was happening that day, you're going to go right back to how you felt that day. Now, that does not give these men and women a chance.
Debate rolled on after lawmakers watched the video from the House floor demonstration that day.
I walked up to the well because you were pushing my people. We brought a megaphone because you cut our people off. You cut their representatives off from the microphone. Time after time after time.
Among the crowd, strong support for the Tennessee 3.
Stand up for our representatives that care enough to put their jobs on the line to do the right thing.
We're failing our children. Guns in schools, guns everywhere.
The American Civil Liberties Union of Tennessee calls the potential expulsion an extreme measure, one that would strip voters of representation by the people they elected. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Justin Jones was expelled from the Tennessee House of Representatives today. The final vote for expulsion was 72 to 25. A 2/3 majority is required. The move comes after the now former state representative was accused of breaking House rules by protesting inside the chamber during a demonstration for gun reform. The protest occurs in the wake of the mass shooting at a Christian school which left 7 people dead, including the shooter. Tennessee Representative Justin J. Pearson says Tennessee is losing its democracy.
That is what's happening in the state of Tennessee. We are losing our democracy, and we've already seen a member who was duly elected by the people in Nashville in the 52nd district being expelled from the state house because he said we need to end gun violence.
Jones was joined by 2 other state representatives, Justin Pearson and Gloria Johnson, during the protest, and they are also facing votes on expulsion.
The Pentagon is defending how the 2021 troop withdrawal from Afghanistan was carried out. The Defense Department gave Congress full reports today, and the White House released a summary to the public. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby says the report concluded that President Biden's decision to end the ground operations in Afghanistan was the right one. It also found that decisions made and the lack of preparations done by the previous administration significantly limited the available options for the president. The Trump administration brokered a deal with the Taliban to remove U.S. troops by May of 2021, which President Biden pushed back to August. Kirby says the transition between Trump and Biden is the reason the withdrawal faltered.
Transitions matter. That's the first lesson learned here. And the incoming administration wasn't afforded much of one. Thus, President Biden's choice was stark. Either withdraw all our forces or resume fighting with the Taliban. He chose the former.
The report also found that evacuations should have started earlier. The Pentagon acknowledged that as a lesson learned.
Hello, and for weather, tonight is going to be whenever we're getting those lowest temperatures for the day. That 38 temperature low, mostly cloudy. Any kind of showers that we're having right now are going to be lessening up in these next couple hours to next hour. We're going to be left pretty clear you could see that the next time that we're going to get rain, it's kind of getting pushed down. Anything that's going to be happening is going to be reaching more southerly. You could see that these are the kind of sprinkles that have been happening today, kind of leaving us with a little bit of annoying showers out there compared to yesterday. But anything that we're going to be seeing is this clearing that's going to be coming through. You could see that this high pressure is going to be moving in. It's going to be leaving those clouds behind, but going to be giving us some beautiful weather. Again, that high pressure is going to be really moving in. You can see that tomorrow, those clouds are going to be sticking around with those mostly cloudy skies, but that high is looking a little bit more like we're used to, with that high of about 59, that low about 34, going to be happening later that night, but going to be a lot more like we're used to, getting almost to the 60s. You could see that any kind of precipitation that's going to be happening is going to be moving way more south. So if you're going south for the weekend, if you're going there for any Easter plans, make sure that you're checking out if there's going to be some pretty intense weather that's happening there. But for Ohio, it's going to be looking pretty pleasant. Going into the weekend, you can see that those pleasant temperatures are going to be getting warmer and warmer as the weekend goes on. By Sunday, by Easter, we're going to be looking at about 85. Going into the 7-day outlook, you can see that those mostly cloudy skies are going to be trailing off by Saturday and going to be leaving us way more sunny as the week goes on. That high pressure is going to be sticking around, leaving us with less rain and more sun. Going to also be bringing those temperatures way up like we're used to this week. Like yesterday, I really wish that it would feel like yesterday all the time instead of right now, because right now it's only about in the 50s, and they're going to be slowly going up as the week goes on. That high temperature for Saturday, about 65, Monday, about 68, Tuesday, going to be 72, and by Wednesday and Thursday, it's a lot more like we're used to around here with that high of 77. That low is only about in the 50s, which is going to be leaving us way more pleasant as the week goes on. Those high temperatures are something that I'm really looking forward to. Going out there, getting in the sun, it's going to be way more fun.
I've been spending the past 2 days outside, and I cannot get enough of it. I'm already ready for summer. I don't know about you guys.
I know.
Oh, I certainly am. I'm ready to put my winter jacket away, and hopefully it stays away for the rest of the season.
Hopefully, I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. Spring is in full swing, and summer, like we said, is a little over 2 months away. With warmer weather comes more time spent enjoying the outdoors. But before you start perfecting your cannonball into the pool, make sure to throw on some sunscreen. Ivan Rodriguez has more on how to keep yourself safe.
Some words of warning and advice from actor Hugh Jackman this week.
I've just had 2 biopsies done. I just went to my doctor and she just saw little things, could be or could not be basal cell. And trust me, trust me, trust me. This is all stuff that happened 25 years ago. It's coming out now.
Jackman has been treated several times before for skin cancer. Thankfully, his results have come back negative this time, but the warning remains. According to the Skin Cancer Foundation, 1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer by the time they turn 70. And the 2 most common causes, exposure to the sun's UV rays and tanning beds. But how does the sun affect our skin? Dr. Sanjay Gupta explains.
The squamous cells and the basal cells, they lie there in that epidermis. That's what can be affected by sun. They can be mutated and they can turn into cancer. You also have another type of cell known as melanocytes. If they become mutated, that can turn into melanoma.
Besides wearing sunscreen with a high SPF, make sure to do routine checks of your body. If you notice something unusual, remember A, B, C, D, E.
A is that lesion or mole asymmetric? Borders, that's B, irregular in some way. Is the color changing? That's the C, and then diameter is D, is it growing in size? And E, evolving, meaning is it changing in some way?
Remember, protection from the sun doesn't mean zero fun. Take it from Wolverine.
Put some sunscreen on. You'll still have an incredible time out there. All right? Please be safe.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Coming up in sports, Ohio softball team is looking for 11 in a row as they travel to Toledo. And to stay up to date on the latest from Newswatch, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
That's the best news I've heard all day.
On Finding Your Roots, Roseanne Cash,
It's odd how it makes me feel a little differently about myself.
and Clint Black.
I've joked with friends about what kind of rascals we'd find.
Stars of country music.
Wish I could go back in time.
You are descended from a patriot.
We were in the fight.
Plus,
Would you like to meet your DNA cousin?
Yes. Wow.
Finding Your Roots.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, heirloom surprises revealed.
That's astonishing. Just my great-grandmother's old cards.
I hope my daughters are going to be interested in it enough to pass it on down through the generations.
I'll say your great-great-great-grandfather looks like Paul McCartney, even with the British haircut, right?
It's Antiques Roadshow, next time from the Idaho Botanical Garden in Boise.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
On episode 2 of La Frontera, I'm exploring from Baja California to Nogales, Arizona, through the heart of the Sonoran Desert, where medical tourism is booming.
We came to get some dental work done, actually.
An ancient tribe reignites a passion for traditional foods.
I like to think of our food as survival food.
And a migrant is transformed by art. Join me, Patty Himich, on La Frontera.
Monday at 9 on WOUB.
Welcome back, I'm Peyton Brooker. Ohio softball has been on quite a roll these past few games, and they're looking to up their winning streak by 11 as they travel to Central Michigan. Over the past 10 games, the Bobcats have been electric for the Diamond since their success leading them top of the MAC standings. Their success has also led them to huge non-conference victories to fellow Ohio colleges Dayton and Ohio State. Head coach Jenna Hall said that the team is not just one person, but everyone is looking to their future success. Looking towards the matchup ahead, the Bobcats have several key players to watch out for. Senior Alexis Daw has been Ohio's most consistent hitter as late with a batting average of .400. Neil Pinole has been the team's home run hitter, leading the team with 6. And let's not forget about starting pitcher Skip Miller, who had an amazing 9-inning performance to shut out the Buckeyes in Columbus. For the Chippewas, they're planning to continue their winning ways as they have won 4 of their last 5. That series starts tomorrow at 3 at Mount Pleasant. And for Ohio baseball, they look to shake off at Moorhead State as they take on the Toledo Rockets. The Bobcats will enter a weekend still on an impressive track as they won 5 of their last 7 games, only sitting second behind Wall State by 2 games. Against MAC opponents, Ohio has remained a top team due to their impressive batting numbers. The Bobcats are looking to upscale this series as last year both of these teams split the series 2-2, with one of those wins coming down to the 10th inning. Now take a look at the two teams. The Bobcats remain offensively focused at getting runs and RBIs. The Bobcats are leading batting average by junior Alec Matino. The pitching for the Bobcats has been very much dependent on an overall lineup, with junior Luke Olson leading the team as a starter. For the Rockets, the batting totals are in their favor, with Jerron Williams leading with a .408 batting average. Also, the team is most successful in the long ball, collecting 46 home runs so far. That series will also start at 3 p.m. as the Bobcats look to turn the tide. And recently, tonight on high school softball, the Athens Bulldogs right now have just finished their game against the Alexandria Spartans, making it now 7-0 to start off the season so far. The Bulldogs finished off the game by scoring 6 runs in the bottom of the 5th inning to mercy the Spartans ahead. They so far have been on a roll to start the season as they won their last game to Logan by 20 points. The Alexandria did win their game against Marietta by 16-7, but unfortunately couldn't get the job done tonight. Now to look ahead for the TVC, the Bulldogs have firm control over the top of the conference.
Thanks, Peyton. When we return, with the high cost of eggs, people are finding new items to paint this year. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
That's the best news I've heard all day.
On Finding Your Roots, Roseanne Cash,
It's odd how it makes me feel a little differently about myself.
and Clint Black.
I've joked with friends about what kind of rascals we'd find.
Stars of country music.
Wish I could go back in time.
You are descended from a patriot.
We were in the fight.
Plus,
Would you like to meet your DNA cousin?
Yes. Wow.
finding your roots.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
Here's what's new this month with Passport.
Once upon a time in Merry England, there lived a boy called Tom.
We've got time, but maybe Christian doesn't.
More resilient in the natural world must be the key.
These and all your favorite shows are available with Passport. Support your PBS station and stream more with Passport on the PBS app.
On episode 2 of La Frontera, I'm exploring from Baja California to Nogales, Arizona, through the heart of the Sonoran Desert, where medical tourism is booming.
We came to get some dental work done, actually.
An ancient tribe reignites a passion for traditional foods,
I like to think of our food as survival food.
and a migrant is transformed by art. Join me, Patti Hinich, on La Frontera.
Monday at 9 on WOUB.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
Finally tonight, egg prices stabilized from their January highs, but they're still not cheap. That's led some people on social media to try something interesting, painting potatoes for Easter. And the trend hasn't been lost on potato producers. Marketing and Promotion Board Potatoes USA is pushing the idea. It's offering tips on how to get the best Easter spud. You can either use food coloring or regular paint. The group says potatoes are less fragile than eggs and easier for kids to hold. Now, I don't know about you, Reese, with all these people dyeing potatoes, do you think potato hunts could be the new egg hunts?
I was never expecting potatoes out of all things, but I'm just wondering how they're going to decorate it this year, because I usually have like the little spinny maker I get from like the local market or something, and then do the stripes or, you know, do the stickers. I don't know how you decorate your eggs.
Yes, it is all very fun no matter what. So now let's toss it over to Isabel with a look at our final weather.
Yes, our Easter weekend is going to be looking good, but tonight we're going to be looking a little bit more on the chilly side with that temperature low of only about 38. Going into tomorrow, definitely going to warm up compared to today with that high of about 59, that temperature low of about 34, mostly cloudy skies. Any chance of rain is going to be out of here. That high pressure is going to be sitting on Ohio. That is going to be lingering through the weekend, leaving us this weekend looking beautiful as the weekend goes on. Going to be that high of 60 on Saturday and 65 on Sunday. Going to leave us beautiful and sunny if you're heading outside on that Easter Sunday. Looking into the next week, we're going to be warming up as the week goes on, and it's going to be looking a lot more spring-like we want to see out there. Going to be getting more and more common to see those high temperatures out there as the week goes on.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. From all of us here at Newswatch, I'm Reese Thompson.
And I'm Juliana Colan. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org or follow us on social media. Have a great night.
Because of my move that I had neglected sending in my donation, it interfered with my enjoyment of the programs. To
assuage that guilt, I donated my car. Once I donated my car, I sat back and thoroughly enjoyed all those shows.